Bonjour.
Hello, my name is Michel Almeras. I'm the car driver who carries the stone. Usually I'm with Hugo Lucas, the owner and guardian of this stone, and he lives in Uruguay. This is a story without words, as it's in silence that this stone gives to everyone whatever can be received by each person. Today is the last presentation in Paris. Tomorrow I'm returning the stone to its country of origin, Uruguay.
This is a heart-shaped stone from the department of Artigas in Uruguay.
The stone was found 40 years ago in 1966 by a man called Luciano Lucas. Luciano worked with stones and he worked in a mine. One day he filled a truck with agates. A customer of his climbed on his truck and started selecting stones, ditching those he didn't want. It's presumed that this one was on that truck. Next day, Luciano notices the stone. The rain cleans the dust inside it, and the crystals sparkle and attract Luciano's attention. He looks at the stone under the sunlight and realizes that he has something very special in his hands. He calls his wife and kids and tells them, "We are in presence of something superior to mankind." Often this man has been offered big sums of money in exchange for this stone, and he has always answered, "No, this stone does not belong to me. It's a gift from the earth to humanity, and therefore I can't sell it. I'm only its keeper."
Here in Uruguay, I'm the car driver. And in Europe, it's Michel.
The more we head north, the more changes we see, and the drier the landscape becomes. We're arriving at the mining area. Hugo still does what his father did. He lends the stone to everyone who requests it, and always does it for free. The stone was found a day or two after being ejected from the truck. They don't know exactly when the stone was found. Many stones were collected, and once in a while, when customers came, they'd load a whole truck so they could select stones from there and then buy them. It is believed that the truck was driven and parked in front of Hugo's father's house, and that in that very spot, the customers simply discarded some, while selecting others. It's in this pile of discarded stones that this particular stone was found.
Now we're going to the very house where my father used to live. It is where my sister and brother live now. At the time, there was a path here. The truck was there, and people discarded the stone right here. This is the place where the heart stone was cracked open. It's an incredible story, full of joy and sadness too. Incredible things happened about the stone. Our house used to occupy the entire corner. We all lived here. Nowadays, my brother lives here and runs his workshop. And to prove there are no thieves around here, the key to the outside door is still in the lock. Here are Mary and my brother Jose Antonio, the only one in the family who still works with stones. Right now we are together As witnesses of the time, my father used to bring us together. At that time, he said to us something we didn't understand, that this stone he found was something beyond mankind.
I feel very strong emotions every time I see this stone, or when I give it away, because when I see it, it reminds me of my father. And somehow I see him in the stone. I always thought that Hugo was the one who had to reveal it to the world. It was in our house all this time, but we didn't know the stone story. After Hugo lived here for many years, it became clear that he was the proper person to reveal the stone to all.
Yes, this stone was very important in our family. It's a privilege for the Lucas family to be the keepers of this stone. It's a stone formed 130 million years ago, and it holds two very big mysteries in its symbols and shapes. Who did those, and what does it all mean? All this makes us think a lot and inspires lots of emotions, and shows us the great responsibility that we have regarding this stone.
This stone is extraordinary. It changed my father's life and that of millions of people. For the Lucas family, it gave us a model of how to live life. I know many people who changed thanks to it. I am sure that my brother and my sister will never part with it for material gain, as it's written there.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Alors comment cette pierre est arrivée là? Moi-même, en 2007.
So how did the stone arrive here?
Je suis parti en voyage.
I myself traveled to Uruguay in 2007. Uruguay is a small country south of Brazil. This country looks a little bit like the heart shape of the stone we found. We were 22 French people who went to the north of the country, to Artigas, the place where the mineral stones are extracted. That morning we were visiting the place where the minerals are extracted in Artigas, and the guide tells us that there's a car of a friend of his which carries an original stone in the shape of a heart. He asks us if we would like to see it. Then Hugo went to his house to find the stone, and we all spent many hours around the stone.
They presented us with this stone, and we all were completely astonished standing around it. We all felt feelings which were difficult to explain.
I had a strong feeling when we saw this agate. I felt a lot of energy and a very deep feeling of being cleansed inside.
What's always surprised me is the way people look like after they see the stone. People shine, they feel relaxed as if the stone would have revealed the deep love that is inside them.
Hugo S'il était là, il nous dirait dans la pierre, il y a tous les symboles.
If Hugo was here, he would say that inside the stone are all the symbols of Christianity, as some in Uruguay believe. These symbols are in quartz crystals.
Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on peut voir?
So what can we see? A heart, an angel, a bird. My grandchild, who is 6 years old, saw a perfume bottle. She could not say which brand. In the south of France, some saw a mushroom in its shape. In fact, we are all victims of our cultural beliefs. If it is mushroom season, many will see mushrooms everywhere. Some saw a letter J, perhaps J for Jesus. J is the letter J in Spanish. It also looks like an Hebraic letter, Yod. If I put it this way,
en arabe, ça voudrait dire le père.
For Arab people, it means the father.
Après le J, il y a quoi?
What's the letter after the J?
K.
The C?
Il y a le JC.
There is JC.
Ah, Jacques Chirac.
Jacques Chirac.
JC, Jésus-Christ, nous dirait Hugo.
And Hugo would say that this is for Jesus Christ.
On voit le C quand on regarde.
When you look deeper inside the stone, there is a black hole. People have told me that this could be the area of the Bermuda Triangle, with the Caribbean in here and with pictures on the other side.
Cette partie-là, les Caraïbes, et puis la photo de l'autre côté.
This could be Atlantis. This is just one possible personal interpretation.
The rest of the stone is much darker, as if a ray of light came out from this spot.
A light ray, yes.
Or a lighter vibration.
It's open to interpretation. Remember, that's the magic aspect of it.
I have a feeling that you're very pleased to meet a lot of people. All different sorts of people.
Dad, may I speak?
Pardon.
But if this stone would not have broken, we wouldn't have seen the crystal inside. It's only because it's cracked open that we have found them.
Do you think inside your heart the same thing is written?
No. This is a stone. My heart is alive, but the stone is not.
I don't have a particular goal. I don't know why I am here. The stone is here. I found it in Uruguay by chance, and now I'm here alone, with the stone. And this was not supposed to happen for a very long time. Already more than 30,000 kilometers have been traveled, more than 250 meetings have been held, and over 10,000 people we have met, all regarding this stone. What is going on? Very hard to explain or understand.
Well, the first time I saw it, I felt nothing special. But I never thought it would travel so many miles with the stone. After, he bought a truck to make this stone trip. I thought it was very strange. I still don't understand everything, you know. I don't understand.
Alors là, d'autres inscriptions.
So here's this drawing, which Hugo would say is 1,000 years old, and Jesus came 2,000 years ago. Some people say it could be Hebrew letters or Celtic codes.
Si je le mets comme ça,
if I put it this way, from left to right, there would be the word Allah written. Someone said that there would be 7 ways to write Allah. This would be one of the ways. Here is a fish. There could be a Christian symbol. Near it would be the bread, the multiplication. Here it looks like it could be a prehistoric animal figure. If we look at the animal, there could be 2 faces on this animal, with a child in its arms. Hugo says this is the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, or a prehistoric animal which could be a dragon. It could look as if it showed that 130,000 million years ago, the arrival of Christ was announced by the stone. Many people see faces, animals, figures, and symbols and believe the stone contains a unique message for each one of us.
Chacun trouvait le message qui lui convient.
I was really in a state of inner peace or serenity, confidence. The feeling was very smooth or very soft. I started crying so much. I didn't understand what was happening to me, and I couldn't get away. I felt incredibly well and felt that my heart was beating at the rhythm, in synchronicity to the universe. I felt one with all that is, and my heart was beating with it. I wanted to let go of my thoughts in order to live in the moment.
When I see it, it reminds me of a closed heart, as it is dark and closed like a human heart. To me, it looks like the human heart. To get opened, it had to fall from this truck, the same as the human heart has to face ordeals to get opened. Sometimes it needs to fall from very high.
Sur le plan géologique, c'est une agate.
Geologically speaking, it's an agate. Uruguayan geologist Claudio Garcia estimated it to be 130,000 million years old. How did he estimate this age? The mine where the rock comes from dates from 130,000 million years ago. So the stone is 130,000 million years old. Inside there are quartz crystals, and someone told me that they are citron quartz, and that's why it looks like gold.
Géologiquement parlant, le quartz sur la
Geologically, the quartz over the agate is normal. What the geologists can't explain is the way they appear inside.
In
this case, we are in the presence of an agate with an outside layer showing a peculiar crystalline formation inside. This is what makes this geode original. My first question is it natural or is it a fake? Honestly, I think it's natural. I have to work with a certain coherence, even if it has a spiritual meaning for some people. Logically, if this is a fake, the spiritual interest would be null. I first have to establish that it is natural and prove there is no pasting to form these shapes. The crystalline formation already exists in the stones, but with other shapes. This is approximately 1 month's worth. The production here is abundant. There are many amethysts, many agates. That's why I think there must be a reason why the heartstone is unique. There were so many tons of stone collected and extracted through the years, but only a single one with such peculiar symbols, with an extraordinary message. Why was it in Artigas, in the middle of such a big mining area? Amongst so many stones, why did one special stone emerge with such a special message? You see, this stone really costs a fortune. Yes, a fortune. Yet, the heart stone is priceless.
Là, c'est de l'agate. De l'agate. Alors, ils enlèvent la roche pour laisser.
This is an agate. When they extract the rock, some basalt is left, and inside it is amethyst. It's beautiful.
C'est beau. Maintenant, je vais vous raconter une anecdote sur l'approche scientifique. Il y a quelques années,
now I'm going to tell you something about the scientific aspect of it. Some years ago in South Brazil, a team of scientists, global experts in geology, paid by the World Bank, were studying soil. Then they learned about the existence of the stone. So Hugo was asked to lend them the stone to study it. He accepted under the condition of being present during the study. So they came to Artigas and rented a big gymnasium and put the stone in the middle of a giant room without daylight and around very sophisticated machines. All day the stone was exposed to rays of light of these machines. Hugo says that he never saw such a beautiful show. From each pore of the stone, a ray of light in a different color came out and went to the ceiling. There were hundreds and millions of rays of light. They were all day long illuminating this room. At the end of the day, they shut off the machines, and Hugo asks, "What's going on? What did you find out?" No one answered him. The next day on the street, a scientist passed by the front of his house, so he asked him to tell him what had happened. The man answered him. It was incredible. Hugo asked again, "What do you mean, it is incredible?" The man answered, "The stone is incredible." It's the only report about the stone he ever heard from the most important worldwide scientists.
There are several methods of study. One of them is to take a sample by laser. We do an invisible hole of 20 microns, and we can analyze chemically one of the crystals. The problem with this method is that we cannot use a piece that size or break the stone to take a sample. So another method would be to study the entire stone. So far, the only way I know is the electronic microscope that we have recently acquired in Uruguay.
Today, Uruguay's Artigas is the only agate producer worldwide. Neither the government nor the miners know how much there is underground. We estimate there is plenty. We estimate we can extract some for about 200 years.
I don't know why this stone has appeared in Uruguay, but it is great that it has. This stone contains the memory of the peace. This stone gives peace to people. It's the only thing it does. Maybe for other people it gives something else, but the goal of this stone is to bring peace. It penetrates you and affects you inside. If you never discovered it before, you can discover it now, and if you already experienced it, it reminds you that peace exists within you.
This one has a very highly energy. It's heavy. They have also energy, quite a bit strong, but I think there is a meaning what is inside, which I cannot explain, really. I think it must be created by the universal. It happens like this. So I think I feel that there is something kind of a special program for this. And there must be a reason why. I think this stone, you can use it for energy balance for the body. People who have much of energy and people have less energy they can increase also. And this one can balance. I think these stones are very special. And I never seen this in my life. I feel it's a blessing. Special.
On sait que de façon générale, tous les êtres vivants, la planète déjà,
we know in general terms that planets, humans, animals, vegetables and minerals transmit radiation, and that this mineral, compared to other minerals, would have a special vibration. For some people, it would not be a planetary vibration, but a cosmic vibration. And these people are very precise, as if this stone would come from somewhere else, and some say it could be a meteorite from Venus. I admit I have no idea.
What affects me is that I received it as something beyond me, something that comes from another world on Earth. I found it to be an enormous treasure. That's what I felt with the stone.
When I had the stone on my lap, I felt a tremendous amount of unconditional love. The next day, I woke up with a big fever, and 2 days after, I had no voice. I couldn't speak, I could hardly hear anything. I also had otitis for a week. The message was very clear. Look inside of you, don't be distracted by the outside, stay focused inside. I also felt an extraterrestrial connection, I mean cosmic. I really felt it was connected to the cosmos, to the entire universe.
Oui, elle a du sacré. Et c'est une présence.
It contains something sacred inside, like a presence. I would say quite strength. It doesn't need to express a special power in order to be. It's as if we would perceive it somewhere, and suddenly it's not there anymore, but somewhere else. It has life inside it.
Ce que j'ai mesuré, c'est sa connexion à l'énergie de la Terre.
What I measured is its connection to the cosmos and the Earth's energy. If there was a cosmo-telluric channel open, or the vibration of life, some would say it's a stone. No, this stone is alive. My antenna resonated with the vibration of life, the frequency of harmony and of the sacred. But it's so open that it invites us to open ourselves widely. Here my measuring instrument is not really useful. Everything is just there in a vortex. All is there. Anyhow, everything's inside everything. I think that it probably comes from another planet in the shape of vibrational information, and it also comes from Earth. I really feel it as very universal and very close to mankind.
It's an alien stone that came from another world. This stone is like a grandmother to all smaller stones, which gives personal messages, reflecting their soul as an identity card to each person in contact with the stone.
No, it's from this planet. At the place where we found it, it is not unique. There are lots of stone of this kind, if we don't take into consideration what it has inside. There are thousands of geodes like this one.
Remember, you're talking to a geologist.
I received something marvelous. I welcomed the inner child, marveled at this deep and soft beauty. It was so good, so much softness. For me, the feeling of it was wow.
It's like a lotus flower. That it opens very widely like this. It's a sensation of fullness, warmth. It's something very soft, very welcoming, very...
It's hard to define or explain. I was looking at people around me, looking at the faces, and I was thinking I'm not the only one to have this impression, because, you know, sometimes I doubt of myself. I really like to watch people and see what it gives them.
A part of mystery is intact with this stone, but there is a part of me awakened, and it's being impacted, and I feel it's very, very slow, and very, very soft. And it's as if this stone is waiting for me. Yes, she waits for me. It is very simple.
Je l'ai touché pendant quelques minutes. Et puis je suis restée dans l'espace.
I put my hands a few minutes on the stone, and then I stayed in the room for 2 hours, thinking it had only lasted about 15 minutes. I felt so well that nothing pushed me to leave. I felt really good.
On ne me faisait ressentir l'envie de partir. Je me sentais vraiment bien et
I still feel the same week after week.
J'aime bien la science, j'aime bien tout ça.
Well, you know, I love science and all this stuff. I understood that the Earth is a living being like many other planets. But I didn't react. Why? I don't know. I think that not everyone reacts. Maybe it's just me. It's like this. Maybe I don't need to. I can't explain it. So after they showed me the pictures of the stone and all that it had inside, and there were a lot of signs inside. It's beautiful, but I really don't care. It didn't do anything special to me. Everyone was astonished by the symbols inside, but I didn't care. Because no one can tell me what they mean in a more rational way. So I looked at their beauty, but for me, it's not the point.
Il y a des personnes qui viennent voir la pierre.
Some people come to see the stone and say it is beautiful, but I don't see the point because I don't feel anything. I think it's okay for these people to think and feel that way. On the contrary, some people experience deep emotions and cannot stay in the room. Many spoke of peace.
Cette année, j'ai vu des personnes se brûler sur la pierre.
This year I saw people who got burned by touching the stone. One was a young man who came to please his mother. It was very touching. He was at the back of the room. He wasn't a very positive person. He said it was all bullshit. Yet his mother insisted that maybe he could see only once in his lifetime such an extraordinary thing like that. I don't know what he did to the stone. I usually ask people to only touch its outside. But he came to me and showed me his hand all red as if he received an electrical discharge. The hand was red, burning. People who would touch him would get burned, and he put his hand under water to be able to release it.
I think this kind of stone is very meaningful. I think it's good to travel this stone, and I think it helps the human body to have a change for the new life. It helps them. And I think it's also help for the world peace and show to the people that there is something, it's a miracle that we cannot explain. So I think this is good to experience the people to open up widely their mind. Because a lot of people are already in this direction. Instead of this direction, always like this. It's about time for change. Try.
Oui, il y a un côté un peu recueilli en fait, un peu comme quand on rentre dans une église ou quand on...
It's like when we go to the church.
Les gens parlent plus bas.
People talk very silently. They walk very slowly.
Marchent doucement.
And they want to touch the stone.
Et puis il y a cette espèce de chose à
Just as if they need to.
Ça, il faut la toucher.
D'un seul coup, je me suis pas que je me suis endormi, mais je suis devenu très calme. Et
I suddenly became very quiet, and I didn't do anything. I just let my thoughts go, and I deeply let myself go. I allowed to come out what wanted to come. At the end, someone asked me for my opinion, and I said, "Stop talking about the stone. Just put yourself in front of the stone and feel it. Why do we go to the sea to watch the sun? We go to the stone to feel the warmth in the heart. To me, it's a mystery that we should just let be."
It's true that I would wish that this stone stays as it was at the beginning, a stone free of any preconception, without doctrine or dogma. This for me is important. People that come to see it feel free to get close to the stone. For me, this stone has to remain free. It's only a stone, but it can help a lot of people. At the same time, someone has to take the stone and not make things complicated.
Le message, en tout cas, n'est pas un message qui est un...
The message is neither a text, nor law, nor a recipe, but it's more of a perception that each one can experience with this stone. It's almost a universal message, and everyone will receive upon where everyone is, at every single moment. Even when seeing the stone 6 months, a year, or even 2 years later, the message can be different. The message is about manifestation of the highest and truest version of who we are. A message of an internal dimension of what truth is. Whoever we are, it engages us to be able to envision in our clarity and truth of what we are, to let exude what is the most righteous.
J'ai assisté aussi à des réactions très...
After having seen people getting in contact with the stone, I was struck by their intense reaction. They were crying and at the same time full of joy, so much that it was impossible not to be touched by them. It was very intense. What else can I say? It was so
extraordinaire.
Extraordinary. I never saw anything more interesting about a stone. It's pure bliss. Pure bliss, because I think this is something that broke the patterns of my life, and it was pure joy. Today, I really live what I have to live in its essence. Nothing is superfluous anymore. The essential, I think, is first to be in your heart and be able to love yourself, and then you are able to love others.
When we invited Hugo to come to France the first time in 2008, he told us that a few weeks before, some friends in Artigas had asked him to bring the stone to their home. Their mother was 85 years old and was an old lady, suffering of a general cancer. He simply left the stone to the people. A few days later, he turns on the radio and hears that this lady has passed away. So Hugo told us that his friends told him that when Hugo put the stone in the room, all the pain went away, and she started to sing. She was singing all week.
I prayed to God to give peace to my mother. I prayed for her not to suffer anymore. She was a very dynamic person, and she suffered a lot when she saw that her state didn't improve.
The last day she dressed with her most beautiful dress. She laid in the bed and passed away. No comments are necessary. This is the stone.
I do like stones and traveling a lot, so going to see the hard stone was perfect for me. And this country, Uruguay, is a little country. I don't know it, and nobody knows it, as it's a little country unlike France.
And here they have such a great stones in their soil, such a great richness. It's probably too expensive for the people living here to have some. But we come for that, for the stone.
This stone is very attractive. Many kind of people is attracted by it. Sincere people, humble ones, mystics, and even crazy people.
Whoever we are, we all dream of something different, nicer. Personally, when I see the heart, I see it as beautiful. I have this thought that it can maybe change my life, in my imagination, and it works.
We have testimonies of people being close to the stone whose health improved. We are also amazed by the symbols in the stone. The sea, the word 1,000, for instance, and the image of the Virgin and Child. My family and myself still wonder about the meaning of the symbols and the message that the stone brings us.
Pensamos que este corazón es como si fuera el corazón del planeta.
We think that this heart is like the heart of the planet. A planet suffering and going through so many catastrophes. We think its heart is bidding, saying to us to take care of ourselves, as if the heart of the earth is talking to us. It makes us free of all selfishness and of so many other things that we think. What is all that for? It's in Parada Farina that the stone was found. I really cried a lot in this place, and then was in an incredible state of peace, of elevation, as if I wasn't on earth and everything was beautiful.
Hermoso.
Muy bien. Calayán. Muy bien,
Here are the pictures of the site where my father spent 7 years, in a little house made of wood and metal. Here were the excavations. He was a very humble man. He had no money. Yet, at the time, he refused many offers for that stone. And us, as his family, we didn't understand him, nor did his friends.
Because he closed his activity after finding the stone?
Just after my father found the stone, the mining stopped. It no longer was lucrative. It was suggested I build a temple, and I said no, because this is something different. This is something that my father told me we cannot make a business from. This stone appeared for mankind. It came with a love and peace message. It's very simple.
Il n'y a aucune doctrine, il n'y a pas de rituel, c'est pas un objet de culte.
There is no doctrine, ritual or reverence that has to be done with it. It is just a stone that everyone can come to see, share, feel and receive as they want.
De la pierre, qui est l'approche vibratoire, énergétique, rayonnement.
Energetically, there is all this vibration that many of you work with or know about, and many others don't. But this does not matter at all.
C'est pas grave du tout. C'est comme si on va voir
as it's just as if we go to see a healer. Here it's the same.
For me, this stone carries a consciousness. It is like an exuding vibration. This is what I saw in the stone. There was a woman, which I drew. Maybe my drawing is too precise, but for me, this was the message. A cosmic femininity, the receiving womb. Did you see this movie talking about underground crystals that are 15 meters long?
In Mexico, yes, I saw that.
Crystals are solidified consciousnesses of Earth. They absorb all the sun's radiations. I think that the Earth's memory, mind and spirit would not exist without crystals.
En observant seulement les personnes qui ont vu la pierre et qui me rapportent après, c'est comme si eux-mêmes.
What if the crystal would not exist? Maybe it's only about these thousands of people in the world who are already touched by the vibration of the energy. There can be transporters of this energy around the world. Maybe it's only about this, but I have no idea. I really don't know. I dream of a mankind where prohibition is not necessary any longer. When you are in a state of love, and you are not aggressive anymore. Instead, you are in a state of peace. There is no more egos, no will of domination, competition, destruction of others. We would have found out our power, and this would be incredible. All barriers fall.
Imagínate un dibujo, ¿no?
Imagine the Earth's crust with its ups and downs. You see a line, sort of fringe measuring between 10 or 12 meters. And there are the stones. You can see the concentration of stones. These tunnels are always at the same temperature, about 20 degrees Celsius, whether it's winter or summer.
Invierno y verano. Esto es muy bueno para
This is very good for mushrooms growing.
Un jour, sur le chemin du cœur, le téléphone sonne.
One day during my trip, my phone rang and a man says, "Hello Michel, is that you?" I answer, "Yes, it's me." The man asks me what did I do to his wife. I ask, "Who is your wife?" And he says to me, "She came 3 days ago to see a stone with the shape of a heart, and since then he does not recognize her and wonders what's happening."
Et là, depuis 3 jours.
He explains to me that he's been married for 18 years and she's in permanent depression, and he doesn't understand how come for the last 3 days she is now calm and quiet. So the man asked me to come join him somewhere in the road, to let his wife say to me that it's almost the first time in her life that she feels that she has no feeling of carrying a very heavy weight over her shoulders. She said to me she feels light and relieved.
I had 2 cancers and I have been receiving hard treatments for 3 years. I really almost passed away several times. I really received in my body a big emotional shock. But how can I explain? I think there was so much love, it was so strong. There was so much unity and light that there was nothing to say. Now I use words, but at that moment I couldn't. Whatever my body suffered, I had to stay there, in the presence of the stone.
I took that thing and I said, "Oh, this feels really cool, that stuff." And then everyone was sharing what they felt. And yet my experience was of a very cold sensation, and I was the only one who felt that. For many people it felt hot. It was incredible, marvelous, awesome. But to me it was really like the cold sensation of ice.
All that energy that the stone has accumulated, and it seems to be a lot, it spreads it. The more it travels, the more it spreads it. I believe that each one finds in presence of this agate what each one comes to find, even if it's unconsciously. I cannot explain it, because I don't feel that everyone feels the same thing. It doesn't give everyone the same thing.
Personally, I would say that it's a beautiful encounter that doesn't happen by chance. Everyone has its own experience about the stone. I thought it was important to get in touch with, because it's a real gift.
Personally, I don't have to search for a precise or irrational meaning in the stone, but let oneself go to what it exudes, and in all consciousness, get acquainted with oneself. This stone has got everything in itself, as it showed its contents to us when it broke. That's why I think its message is to dare break ourselves and to let us be accessed through the written symbols within us, and also to let other people read them.
Now, when there are things I don't like, I just look at people face to face and say, no, I don't agree with you, this is not convenient for me. I don't share your opinion because... And the way I speak is better heard. Before, I think I didn't use the right words and intonation. Since that day, my life has changed. Now I know my path of life.
I felt as if the stone absorbed things I didn't need anymore. There was deep peace and a feeling of fullness, of love. I left with a deep sensation of grace, of lightness.
We're going now to Parada Farinha. This was the place where the stone was found. This was the place where my father had his stone concession.
We are now going to see the place where Mr. Lucas found the stone.
Aquí estaba la choza.
Here was the cabin where my father used to live.
Aquí pasó 7 años solo.
He spent 7 years alone in search of what he thought was going to be an incredible quarry. Destiny had set him to find something priceless. My father worked here with pickaxes and shovels. He had a sixth sense to find places where interesting stones were. He was here for 7 years with just pickaxes and shovels. What was incredible is that after my father abandoned this land, machines arrived and were no longer able to mine stones. It's as the mine decided to stop being lucrative once the investment is too great. Artigas is part of the planet, and Artigas is part of the message. The stone arrived here because this place has been selected for a reason. I'm sure that if this had happened in Jerusalem or some other sacred place, the whole world would be aware of it. I think that Artigas is part of the message. Why Artigas? Because this isn't a for-profit business. People must be made aware that message is for everyone and accept it little by little, peacefully, calmly, and with discernment.
I was listening to Hugo talking about Artigas. But it's also lovely that Artigas and Uruguay to me are not well known at all, neither in a touristic way nor as a sacred place. Why create a sacred place? Sacredness is everywhere. Maybe because it's not known, it has arrived here. I think that Hugo's father understood the message well.
Il faudrait pas en faire quelque chose qui nous...
We should not do something that could become too much marketing.
Créer des illusions.
Nor create false illusions, because not everyone will come to Artigas. It's not possible, nor does it matter at all. We are going to put the stone back on her land, as our friend Hugo is here. He carries the stone himself. He doesn't understand what he carries, but nevertheless he carries it in him.
Here, something appeared either from deep inside Earth or above. Something appeared for mankind and for each of us. This has come so we try to better ourselves and build a better and cleaner world. Because we can be happy with so little. While we can be wealthy, we can be so poor in our souls as well. The important is to be rich, sensible, a simple and humble man, but mostly rich in our spirit. This is happiness to me.